on a lot of stuff. And I learned how many things make up the Ministry of National Security. And one of those things was customs and excise. Oh no, that's immigration. But immigration and customs work together. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it seems that in their haste to sanitize what appears to be a high-level smuggling operation, because that's what it came across as. I got word today, and I don't know if this is true, that the courier who brought in the Pfizer vaccines was actually detained by customs. And people are now trying to evade victimization in this tin pot dictator land where everybody have to be sucking somebody else to be getting a job in the first place, and then if you have the job, suck who come in line so that you could keep it. So people, understandably, who have lives, understandably would be afraid of victimization. So it's getting harder and harder to get information on this particular issue. But a freedom of information request would have given us everything we needed, which is why the government, uncharacteristically, because even the CMO again today had to trip over his ethics when questioned about these Pfizer vaccines. He said they were aware it was coming. Anything else you have to ask the Ministry of National Security. Now that sounds like a lie. Because every single vaccine that comes into this country has to come in under the auspices of the Ministry of Health. So why would the Ministry of Health be lying to cover up this smuggling operation? The United States Embassy to Trinidad and Tobago got licks on international media today. And somebody posted on the United States tweet that they put out 27 hours after you made the gift. 27 hours later, and somebody came and asked, this is not even enough of a donation for a church. Why are you boasting about it? Actually, I could tell you what they said. I have the picture. Why are you boasting about this? Somebody asked, why are you bragging about this? China state-affiliated media replying to the United States in TT, that is more like the amount of donating to a nursing home, not a whole country. And then someone else replying said, meanwhile, and shared the Chinese ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago saying, I'm glad to update that the consignment of 200,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccines procured by the TNT, and that's up to where I have, there's a screenshot. America now has to address the fact that the State Department of the United States of America was somehow compromised in this. I'll tell you why I'm using the word compromised. Because there is no way that 80 vials of Pfizer vaccine was the donation from the United States of America. There's absolutely no way in heaven or hell that the United States of America was going to allow itself to be embarrassed. The United States of America knows every shipment of everything taking place around the world, especially vaccines. The United States of America is aware of when vaccines to Trinidad and Tobago are loaded onto ships in China or wherever, or planes, to come to Trinidad. They're aware of quantities. Because if you don't know, and they've been like this for quite some time, there is nothing that they can't see from above. And they are very, very good at spying and monitoring and macroing. And they have people on the payroll in all countries, like China would have people on the payroll in sensitive positions in America, espionage being the requirement that it is in high-level diplomacy. So what took place that is being shielded by the Ministry of National Security of this country and then cornered. Now the United States Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago doesn't have an ambassador. So no ambassador has been appointed as yet. So this is the job, this unsigned release that came with no fanfare 24 hours after this person was detained and the shipment seized. You see, people trying to understand why we're making such a big fuss over to whom it may concern. But that was almost the name of the show tonight. To whom it may concern. That was almost the name of the show. To whom it may concern. Because if you come to me for a recommendation or a reference, and you know who you're going to see, it's addressed to that person. To whom it may concern is a form, is for anybody that you bounce up. The person receiving it knows this wasn't for me. You're using it to convey information to me, but it wasn't for me. Yeah? I need to make a short WhatsApp message, and I apologize for this. But on these things, to whom it may concern is an important thing. Or, as you know, we are asking you to please share the video to your friends to let them know, because we're broadcasting from a new page, even though we're getting very respectable numbers. I'm just actually sending a WhatsApp to my sister to find out if everything's good by my mom, because she was just trying to call me. I couldn't interrupt the live. And I just want to know that everything's okay. You could WhatsApp me also, 682-2110. Somebody just messaged me saying, hope I touch on what I'm actually touching on now. Brandon, pay attention. Okay, everything's okay by my mom. The issue about to whom it may concern is what made a lie of Fitzgerald Hines' Ministry of National Security. Now, they're not brave enough to put their name because somebody have to get fired over this. And it should be Keith Rowley. Ultimately, it should be Keith Rowley, because the Ministry of Health is saying that they were aware of a shipment coming, but they had no control over it. The Food and Drug Division had no say about it. Customs had no inclination. There was no plan. So that's all a lie. This person showed up in Piaco in the Royal Imperial Majestic Banana Republic of Bananistan with a United States State Department letterhead to hand to somebody. They say, hey, you know who is we? We is America. We is America. And America say, this coming in day. But the customs officials who were on duty decided to function more like a professional first world country and not like Bananistan. And they said, excuse me, you have documents missing. And I don't care if this coming from below God's chair. My work here is to request certain documents and you don't have it. And they detained the person. Now that's a serious allegation. So we need to find out that's true. And they seized the shipment. A call was made to people in the Ministry of Health. I understand it had to do with some chief pharmacist or something like that, who could not get the paperwork. And whatever behind the scenes negotiations took place with whoever imported those drugs, because this is a country where a drug mule full of cocaine packed in condoms in his stomach, a condom erupted and he was dying. They took him to a hospital in the east and they operated on the drug mule, and they took the drugs out of the drug mule, gave the drugs to the people who came with the drug mule, and sent the drug mule on his way. This is that much a banana republic. So if you're outside there in your P&M jockey shorts and you want to say we best, we have the best, keep rolling, say we have the best vaccine plan in the world, and they have countries packing their stadiums and open back up, living their lives. They're going about their business. Because in third world countries, third world dictators have paid talking heads with medical degrees to say, COVID will be with us forever. Yes, it will. It's probably been here forever. All bacteria, all viruses, unless this is a weaponized coronavirus, which at some point we will find out. Make no mistake, you know. You could slap America hard. You could. Vietnam won the war with America. They never won the peace. They never ever rose to their full potential as an Asian producing country, and America saw to that. You could slap America hard, but they have an old saying, when you come to kill the king, don't miss. America is not going to stop until they find the actual woman who ate the bat. They want the remnants of the bat. They are not going to stop. And if, as is being said, now I need to say this again because I'm not there and I don't have first-hand knowledge. I'm not like Thomas. I'm not in front of Jesus. I can't put my hand in his wounds. I don't know if there's a virology lab in Wuhan. I don't know if that there is truth to the allegation that there is a virology lab in Wuhan and this is weaponizing of coronavirus. Because of coronavirus, there is belief in the world that in 1916, 1917, during World War I, a weaponized coronavirus that became known as the Spanish flu was unleashed in the theater of war because they don't know where it come from. Just saw it appear, and just as it appeared, gone. No global vaccinating, you know. 50 million people dead, and we learned to live with it. Herd immunity. So like chicken pox that used to kill you, now it don't. On measles. People used to run from measles. Now you get your measles and you go your way. The point that has to be made is Trinidad and Tobago embarrassed the United States of America. And they are hoping that the news cycle erases this so that it doesn't get traction. Because if it gets traction, names are going to call. This is not like Trinidad media, where all you need to do is send your spiffiest MP to date the journalist, push her up in her apartment in One Woodbrook Place, give she a nice car to drive and tell her, don't say a bad word about the government. This is not, America is not Trinidad, where the hairy back squad could call owners of independent media houses and say, if you're broadcasting that unfriendly to the government, you don't get no government money. Because in the United States of America, they will sue you and the FCC will jail you for those kind of allegations. And I want to make the point that when Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to become a politician briefly and ran for governor in California, the Federal Communications Commission, 6 weeks before that election, wrote every broadcast, media house, movie house in America. They wrote all who had a license to broadcast free to air or via cable to let them know you cannot show any shows that have Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. No Terminator, no Predator, no Conan the Barbarian, nothing. You cannot show any show that has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it for the next 6 weeks, or if you do, according to the Equal Time Act, if you show a movie that has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it for 1 hour and 21 minutes, you have to give all of his political opponents 1 hour and 21 minutes of screen time. Equal screen time. And that's how, and if you break that rule, they black you out. They pull your license, they turn you off. That's it for you. That's it for you. They take this shit very, very serious. Their politics and their elections, and they take it very, very serious. Things have a way that they could turn around and bite you back in your ass. And you need to be careful that one of the most important skill sets they teach you in corporate America and political America is CYA. Cover your ass. Your work is to find out all the different ways this could come back and bite you. This person in Trinidad, they didn't teach him or her that. So whatever the negotiation was that got this person in Trinidad and Tobago's United States Embassy to write that release, because I want to tell you why I do not believe it's true. And it's simply this. If the United States of America was going to fart on Trinidad on Friday, they'd announce it by Wednesday. A fart is coming. A proper fart. An American fart. Trinidad will never be the same after this fart. And we want to invite all of you in the rest of the Caribbean to pay attention as we fart on Trinidad. That's how America does things. 90% of America is how it look. So they're not about, we going to give you 80 COVID vaccine and we're going to smuggle it in and don't tell nobody. That can't happen. Can't happen. It's not happening. We're not sending vaccines to Trinidad and Tobago as an official vaccine to the government and people of Trinidad and Tobago and writing a letter that says to whom it may concern. This person has some vaccine with them. Treat with them accordingly. Call me if you have a problem. That's what the letter say. That's what the letter say. It didn't say to the Honorable Minister of National Security, Trinidad and Tobago government, Port of Spain, Trinidad. It didn't say anything like that. Hey, Fitzy. No, nothing. Not a word, not a hint that it had anything to do with the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing at all. Now you ask yourself this question. You are America trying to recover face in a world where they beat you for Trump. And I'm saying this, I'm saying this. 9/18, Monday, June 14. All you could do like that orange man, he was right. He was right. And at some point, plenty people, when they drowning in the shit, they will come up for air one last time and say Trump was right. Because he was right. And he may not have been, and I said this at the start, he may not be the asshole that you like, but he was the asshole that you needed. But that is our whole. Unlike other journalists, I am biting my tongue in case I don't get a visa to America. I just talk straight to everybody. But that whole thing, like I tell people who send me shit about all these things, about 5G and all these things, there are some things beyond me. I am not in public office. I am not. There are some things that I can do with the power of my voice, and there are some things that I cannot. And I cannot fight. What does they call it? The planet judge? The planet judge that come in. Anyway, I'm not ridiculing nobody. Everybody needs to believe in something, and whatever floats your boat and tickles your fancy, rock and roll. But don't call me and bring me in it. I can't answer all of these things. What I can say is that what took place in Trinidad and Tobago, the one thing that I know for certain it did was that it cleared Mr. Arjun. Now, Ole could not like that fella. Ole could not like him as much as Ole don't want to like him. The man was correct. The man was right. I knew he was correct and he was right when he said it the day on Fazir's show. And I'll tell you how I knew he was correct and how I knew he was right. Because he was talking about something that people, how to say this, I know people in all levels of society, and people call me to ask me for the link up for the Pfizer and the Moderna. Phil, who it is? Give me the link now so I can get my little If you have not yet, let me pause for a second because I have a responsibility to do this as housekeeping. Like, follow, share. Go to the page that this video is being broadcast on. Click like, click follow, click share, so that everybody who are not yet on this page would know that the Philip Edward Alexander page is the new broadcast media platform for our broadcast. If you want to be notified, click like, click follow, click share. We get over 1,200, 1,500 comments on a live video every time we go live. Satish Ramsaran says that while that is beautiful and enjoyable, we get a lot of people who come from outside the page to do that. And there is a setting where you have to follow the page to be able to comment. And he's going to turn that on in a week. I'm saying all of this to you so that you know, like and follow so you get notification and you can take part in the conversation. There's another way to keep the trolls out, because they had to come and click follow and their name gets registered. And they're not too much into doing that kind of thing. Please share the video. Take the time to click share right now so that others would know. As I said, it's a new page. We're now building the audience. But 1,900 people is fairly decent for a brand new page that is not even a week old yet. But back on the point, because we need to get this out of the way before we take on Grandmaster Flash, King Piper, the man who wants to stand up in the parliament. Now I'll say this there. Saying this again. Don't come in the Gael to pelt boy if you can't take boy. A fella named Kijan Haynes, a little journalist, out of the blue attacked me. And I am accustomed to people who out of the blue attack me for whatever their political persuasion or who paying for the groceries. Whatever the justification, this man out of the blue, without ever having an online conversation with me, ever attacked me. He get clapped back and bawl like a baby. Run for him, mommy. Run for lawyer. Take we to the Equal Opportunity Commission. Take we, listen now, ex-attorney general. When you see they get hit back, this get hit hard. But they have plenty in politics who are pussies. And Fitzgerald Hines is a pussy. Because I am about to take on Fitzgerald Hines, that pussy. Now they have a lawyer named Michael Kwamina who works exclusively almost for the PNM. And he is the pussy protector. His job is to write pre-action protocol letters when any of these pussies attack people or talk hard about people, and when they get clapped back and they look like ass and they gone home and their girlfriend or their boyfriend laughing at them, when they come through in the office and people, they can't take that. They have a saying in Trinidad, it's not the horn that is killing, you know, it's the echo. Fufanu is the echo. The man really say that about you, but the man ripping too. They have only one other person I know have a tongue like mine that could cut you to shreds, Gary Griffith. When you're done, you had to hush. And they have plenty of these people who they just jump out themselves to come to attack people. And when they get slapped back, clap back, and everybody laugh at them and they realize that they're not as tall as they thought they was. It's not as big as they thought it was. That thing hitting the inside of the thigh is the pan seam. It's not what they thought was hitting. They just had to run and call their brother and their sister and call people and say, it's race he talking about. It's class he talking about. He hurt me. Brian Manning attacked me in the worst way. On Roger Valley, who just died, God rest his soul, Roger Valley shared my post. And Brian Manning came on that post. We have all the screenshots and attacked me in the most vile and defamatory manner. But I didn't take Brian Manning to court because I am not a pussy. I am a man, and I understand that I am out in the Gael and that from time to time I'll get hit. What I didn't know is that the PNM stands for Pussy National Movement, because every one of those lawsuits is from a little pussy who can't defend himself, who's small and small in his mind, who father never hugged him, who never felt like they belong anywhere. So they get a little post and they get a little name and have little girls come in and blow smoke up their ass. And when they come at Philip Alexander, they didn't expect to get that hard a slap that make the girlfriend forget how to blow rings. Make her double think, did I blowing smoke up the right ass, boy? You see, I don't need a pussy protector. I am now meeting lawyers. But Michael Kwamina, he like a, what you call, feminine pad. That is his work. If the pussy crying, Kwamina writing. That should be his law firm slogan. The Pussy National Movement have pussies like Fitzgerald Hines, who will tell the Express, Philip is to be ignored. Fitzgerald Hines, I have more intelligence in my little toe than you have in your whole family. And when you stand up in the parliament and you tell people, if COVID had a face, it looked like the UNC. And you're an old thief, because that was my meme from 24 hours before, when I tell people if COVID had a face, it looked like Imbut. It looked like that shrivel up cat Bamsi of a face. That's what I said. And you can't make up your own thing. So like pipers, you just had a thief thing to make yourself feel like you're in thing. So you went in the parliament and with privilege, and you stand up there. But you forget, you is the last person to be telling people about face. When you was born, the doctor slapped your mother. They say that is unfair. You can't do that to people. And from that day going forward, people was recommending take him to Princess Elizabeth Center for Handicap. That is a handicap face. Ian Allen said they could put your face on Sappadilla tree to scare bat. So when you tell Anna Ramdas, I am to be ignored, the only reason you're saying I am to be ignored is because you're a pussy and you're afraid of me. I call you now. I call you live. I call you live the other day and you beg off. I'm a respectful man of integrity and I'm not a bum rush you to embarrass your partner. But don't be a pussy in the politics. The Pussy National Movement need to wake up and realize that not all of us are going to be scared away by your pussy lawyers or your friends in high places that you put there to defend your pussy behavior. All of those PNM MPs and ministers are cowards. They could only talk under privilege. They could talk big, come outside. Really come outside. Joke and fun aside. Give me immunity. Because all this come outside talk they want to talk. Short man, crepe paper face. Come outside. But crepe paper face suing me for asking him a question that a former Minister of Transport asked. Take a lawyer that was the head of WASA that you get the work to and hire him as your lawyer to sue. Come outside. But you're inside the court. Your Honor, afraid him. He gonna make me look like a pussy. We want an injunction. That's what I deal with these pussies from the Pussy National Movement. And you have to be very aware, all of you who supporting the PNM, that the P in PNM is pussy. And you're a pussy supporter. And what's worse, some flabby old pussies taking advantage of you and your family. Because them family abroad, getting chauffeur dropped to school, private school, they coming out of the class, they coming out of the car in the back seat, and they coming out in jacket with slow. You coming out of the school and man pelting bottle down by Mukurapo. Rowley want to say, he have on shit kickers. But now I have a pair of shit kickers. Put on your shit kickers and let me meet. Let me see when the shit kicking done, who's standing. How about that? But you really name man, partner? Because we bounce up, I know you ain't forget, we bounce up on the campaign trail. If you name man, partner, really, come outside, talk for talk. Let me invite the media. Because I'll make all of you cry. And the problem is, because you're little pussies and you don't know how to deal with it. Because as I said, it took, I tell you, Brian Manning insulted me to the core. core, the PNM had a narrative about me. They wanted to say that I was a con man and a thief. I walk around dealing with that, building a political party outside the racism of the race politics. Then a little fight I fight, you know. Big fight I fight. So when they come with a dog whistle and they talk the shit, man, my father raised me to be a man. So if you fight and you lost the fight, be a man and say good fight. Go your way. I remember, I want to say this. This is not to invite anybody to get in touch with me and rekindle no friendship. I got in a fight in Genesis once. Well, remember what Genesis nightclub was? I got a fight in Genesis nightclub. And a man, boy, in that fight, and your boy so sure of himself because doing kung fu with Gerald Joseph. And I swear, black belt and thing. Man cuffed me full in the face. I wake up the next morning looking like Julia Roberts at the height of her career. I couldn't say any word that started with W, I couldn't say for about 2 days. And I take my cuff and I bounce up the man. He give me a bounce and I give him back a bounce. And when my fist touched that fist, I say, I remember what that fist feel like in my face. But as a man long time, I bounce up a fire officer who remind me about the time we fight with the bottle boys in North Stand during Panorama. And his fire officers had to part that fight. I ain't grow up weak. And I ain't grow up like a pussy. So I am surprised. I am always surprised at the pussy behavior of big looking men. Big strapping men. Well, I mean not Kejan Haynes, he's a little fella. He's small. Breeze can blow here away. But it always astonishes me that these people who have all this talk, because I don't take on nobody first, you know. I don't go at nobody first. I take my tip first. But when you get hit back, and you have to run for your mommy, and your daddy, oh God, Philip hurt me. They're going to never look at me the same. Every time, everybody that you tell that story to, every time you watch them in the face, they know you have to send for lawyers to fight your fight for you, because you're a pussy. And that's the truth. Fitzgerald Hines can't be telling people nothing about themselves. And you're lucky is this week and Merazmi UNC you're fighting. You see them kind of blows Saddam Hussein and them taking. Boy, listen now. Everybody's telling the truth. The Speaker of the House would have to put me out of the House every single time. And from that time, we will take the Parliament on the street. I don't want to talk that like other people who trying to build a narrative for themselves. All you know me. All you know me. And we here, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we live in a shithole because we've allowed pussies and weaklings to have full run over everything that affects our lives. Check this. Check this, right? We done with Hines? We done with Hines, or they want to skate some more water on him? We want to skate some more water. I feel sorry for him that day. I say, oh God, boy, I hope this don't uglify this man anymore. Now, he can't take no more ugly. And the people who living by him in that street in Hillsborough, that's going to be unfair to them. You should give him a bell when he coming up the street. Hines coming! Hines coming! Lock up your charan! Don't let them see this! The pussy national movement. Or let us play, man. Let me talk about the lockdown. We have a poll running. And the poll ends 5 minutes before the show ends. And that poll asks, do you think the government and the embassy are telling the truth about the Pfizer vaccine? Let me talk about this. What's the date today? The date today is June 14th. Let me write that down, yeah? This is June 14th in the night. Because with all the bullshit being discussed, we are discussing the real important shit. Rowley asked for a state of emergency to bring COVID-19 under control. COVID-19 climbing. Lockdown started Friday, April 30th. April 30th. State of emergency started Saturday, May 15th. Now, I am of the firm belief, when I found out that the journey from Egypt to the promised land by foot is 9 days. And it took Moses and the Israelites 40 years. If one of my ancestors was walking with Moses, by the second year, we ask a question. Moses, let me see that map if you're holding it right side up now. Let me see if you're really reading this thing correct. Friday, April 30th. Saturday, May 30th. No, Friday, April 30th to May 30th is 1 month. To June 14th is a half month. 14 days is exactly. So you have had, in the lockdown, 3 COVID cycles. Parashram, get out your calculator. Steffi Graf Hines, jack it up, turn it on. You've had 3 COVID cycles. Trotman, let me talk. You've had 3 14-day cycles since your lockdown start. How come COVID's still going up? They're still zesting in Tobago. I know they have no candlelight vigils. So how it going up? How it not coming down? If all you know what you're doing. If all you know what all you're doing, the rest of Trinidad locked down. All the business closed, it's only Starlight Drugs and St. Christopher's could sell chicken and pillar and thing. So that can't be more than 20 people if you're lucky. How we getting these kind of numbers? 3 COVID cycles, 3 14-day cycles that is required for the incubation, the gestation, that's required from contact to become transmission, to become full-blown COVID-19, for you to test positive, because 14 days is asymptomatic, and they can't tell. You've had 3 14-day cycles. How come we not down, if all you know what all you're doing? Is it because you're sending frontline healthcare workers home in the private car because they're getting COVID passes to go and pick up healthcare workers to drop them home? That's what the police say. Are they getting in those cars in hazmat suits and the cars separate with plastic? No, not at all. It's P-taxi. Them fellas in Hano, sanitizer. You jump out, somebody else jump in. You sending them home with their family, and their family going and mix with the neighbor and going down the road. And because you jackass the scene, we can't go to the grocery normal. All of we had to go and line up and choke up for we bag of flour. Because we still have to eat, jackass. The normal things that make our life, toilet paper still had to sell. We still going to have to eat food. You close the hardware, no problem. Let rain fall through. We'll close that room. We ain't going to use that room for a while. Let that one fill up with water. How come 3 14-day cycles, you have a state of emergency running, 2 full 14-day cycles, 2 COVID transmission cycles? So not only do you have a lockdown, you have a state of emergency. Where are the people? Where are these people who are giving each other COVID for you to put out that bullshit every day? How is this happening? It not adding up. No, let me tell you, let me not joke about this one. I want to zest and talk about imami and all kind of shit. I want to do that, but it's a serious, serious issue. If locking down the country supposed to stop COVID transmitting, how it transmitting? Is Rowley jackassing the scene all over the place? Super spreader Keith Rowley? Is it him? What's going on? What is going on if you've had 3 COVID cycles as a lockdown, 2 COVID cycles as a state of emergency? Where the COVID coming from? By now, you're supposed to be able to pin it down. Because Joan Smith from Dustbin Trace, Cobo Valley, went in a Massey store to buy a pack of vermicelli, and she bunks up Charlie Singh, and that's how Charlie take it home and give it to his wife Linda. That's what contact tracing is. And because everything else shut down, it's easy now. All you need to do is take 1 positive person and go back. I know. My brother called me from Mexico to tell me we're standing up watching the original pig for swine flu. That's how contact tracing works. That's how it works. patient 0. You know what's patient 0? You're dealing with patient 300 and you build a matrix of contact on the wall with some string or some markers. John meet Mary, Mary talk Sally, Harry, William, and Ash. Look where it come from here. A fella named Gomez, who step off a fishing boat down by the Shagaramas fish processing plant that bringing in fish since the COVID-19 start. Nobody think to go and ask them, what's going on here? How come you processing Venezuelans? Well, forget that for now. I pretend this is a real country. They talk in a press conference. When you have a press conference, people ask you questions. Excuse me, where you get them socks, Kapalani's closed down? They're not asking the real questions. The questions I want to ask is, if you've had 3 COVID cycles in a lockdown and a state of emergency, where the COVID coming from? How the people getting tested positive? How? I could understand if after the first 14 days, April 30th, May 15th, I could understand May 15th, you launched the state of emergency, no problem. That should have been the start of the reversal of the trend. Because there are no more Tobago. There are 50,000 people on the boat. There are no more zesting on Pigeon Point Beach. You say it's the candlelight vigil. We stopped that since March. Where it coming from? Keith Rowley, Roshan Parasram, Terence Dialsing, whoever the model girl name is, Richards, who dare to show off she mascara, Hines, Trotman. Where's this coming from? If you've had a lockdown that gave you the 15th to reverse the spread, all right? Because you lock us down on the 30th. So you've had 15 days to May 15th. And all you get out all your pen and pencil, because tomorrow you will hear the whole country asking the same questions. Remember where you heard it first. You had a lockdown full April 30th to May 15th. That was supposed to be the highest spike, highest point of the spike you could get if you were actually practicing social distancing in the government and in public health, and the borders was closed, and all of this. And I'm making a point, you know. If you get the first cycle and you still trending up, and you declare a state of emergency, and then you get a second cycle, now you have a lockdown and a state of emergency. On the holiday, you can't go by Miami, you can't go for Mother's Day, you can't go for Eid, you can't go for Indian Arrival Day, you can't go on your farmland. It just seems like coincidentally, all them Indian had to stay home for a while. But you have no problem, things just happen like that, things just coincident like that, all the time, no problem. What happened after that? You lock everybody down. Nobody going by Miami, nobody in Eid, nobody in Indian Arrival Day, nobody planting on the farm. Nobody outside, nobody can go nowhere. You have limited places that could be sources of transmission and infection. You can't trace to that. Fire all of y'all. Fire all. If after the 15th, you reach the 30th of May, your next press conference on the 30th of May, that is 14, you now have 2 COVID cycles. The last of the spike where it lose all of its momentum, because while it's trying to trend up for all of the people who touch one another before April 30th, this is before April 30th, this is the 14 days to May 15th, that's the last of it, it's falling apart. After that, May 30th, it's supposed to be nose diving, not going higher. Where are they meeting each other in a country locked down completely and state of emergency? How are they touching one another? Palm, was it any place? Palm House, Palm Village, Royal Palm, whatever the name of the whole house is, them closed. Villa Capri closed. Where's the church closed? Nobody praying, nobody praising, nobody kissing one another, giving each other a sign of peace. None of that happening. Nobody going in movie town. Nobody's been to cinema prior to April 30th. Nobody's been to a restaurant. Nobody's lined up in KFC for a dinner box with an extra piece of biscuit. Nobody, nowhere. And for the couple people that somewhere They're easy to contact trace. So I'm asking you, between April 30th and May 15th, where those numbers came from. May 15th to May 30th, where those numbers come from. And today, we're in June 14th. This is the end of the third cycle. 2 full COVID 14-day cycles and some extra days for added measure. You've had these days when nobody is in touch with anybody. Man vex. When they married this woman, for better or worse, they didn't know it meant stay home and watch she face. People vex. The woman, the owner man calling to find out if the coast clear. Man's still in the house. You do that. All the people around each other. They have nowhere for me to go. I know the inside of the Massey, the shopping, like I could blindfold myself and fold my trolley. They have only, I go Adams for my bread. I don't go Starlight Drugs again because I'm boycotting them because of the $70 payout. I will never go back to St. Christopher gas station for as long as they get to jackass the scene. So I limited to where I can go. I can go for a drive. I hear now the Commissioner of Police say today that pre-curfew, they're going and start putting down a curfew. For what? To social distance cars? Because they have too much cars on the road? COVID passing bumper to bumper now. What shit are they talking? Are they really taking advantage of people's stupidity? Or is it that you're taking advantage of people's kindness? And you're mistaking their decency for stupidity. Because this is the third 14-day cycle of no contact. So if you cannot, it's like somebody say, you're playing a game of Monopoly and they give you the whole bank. If you can't win the game with the whole bank, you shouldn't be playing. If you can't stop COVID, having the country shut down, locked down, and a state of emergency for 3 consecutive 14-day cycles, you have no idea what you're doing. And you should not be operating our public health. All of it now is bullshit. All of it is a lie. You are fooling the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I completely disbelieve that you have any idea what you're doing. I think that you're using the PCR test wrong. I think that you're putting out false information. And I'm saying this because if people still dying in this country, understand me. If people still dying in Trinidad and Tobago, where you had 14 days country lockdown, and next 14 days lockdown and state of emergency, and next 14 days lockdown and state of emergency, how COVID getting through? It coming in the mail? How? It not making sense. The only person who could be doing shit is the one calling the shots. And that's you, Rowley. You and your crew. You take it from here. You answer this one. Tell them why red and blue does make purple. He's come and talk shit for us. And looking at the next graph, you will see that when the oil starts to bubble, that's when you add the brown sugar. Because if you want one of them real Creole stew, and you had to wait, don't stir it, let it bubble. It can look like it's burning, but don't worry. Just be on standby with a bowl of chicken. Season already. Don't do like them Americans and make unseasoned chicken. Right, so when you see, and this next graph will show you a picture of how the sugar does look when it's browned. Because they have nothing else you have to tell us. Everything else is bullshit. I'm saying again, the Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley has had 3 14 days transmission cycles of lockdown and state of emergency. There is no way we could still be getting COVID positive cases and people dying if these jackasses had a clue what they're doing. And we joking, and we making memes, and we making all kind of comic and video and all kind of shit. And the one thing we not doing, saying, wait now, partner, you're veering all over the street. Is either you're drunk or you can't drive. One of the two. And both of them are reasons for you to stop and put me out right here. You give me all kind of excuse, but you can't explain. And I want to know. It requires people contacting people for COVID to spread. The last people that you put out today, those last people, those 300 people, have you contact traced them? to see where they got COVID from. They have no carnival. They have no movie. They have no church. They have no KFC. They have no doubles box. They have no candlelight vigil. They have no market. They have nothing. They have nothing. They can't go and buy crab on the side of the road. You're locking down everything. So there's no way, unless you are making a shit of the scene. The only way people could still be dying from COVID-19 in this country is if our Minister of Health and his band of buffoons have no clue what they're doing, and people are dying as a consequence of what is going to have to be labeled at some point in time as coronavirus novel COVID-19 malpractice. It is a clear case that you do not know what you're doing. And the rest of us and our businesses shut down. And it's shut down, and we're shutting down, and we're doing the right thing, and you're doing the wrong thing. You spitting all over the podium, Keith Rowley, with your no-mask self, and telling the journalists, once I 6 feet from them and 6 feet from you, I good. So the rest of the country, they say they give out 1,000 mask ticket. That's 12,000 mask ticket. That's $12 million. All of those tickets now supposed to be challenged in court. Your Honor, I'd like to play for you. Once you're 6 feet from this one and 6 feet from anybody else, you're okay. The science say 5%, 4%, 3%, 2%. My ass, you have no idea what you're talking about all the time. But police giving tickets to people who are in safer situations than you, if what you're saying is true. So tell me, in this country, where the opposition so comatose that when Senator David Naked put out a video, it goes viral because they have nobody else doing anything that anybody really wants to hear. Nobody. The UNC let them damage Rudal Monilal so bad that when Rudal sharing his videos, I know he must be seeing some numbers, but them numbers he's seeing is inside the UNC. Nobody outside interested. They break him. He broken. Anil Roberts broken, damage. Beyond repair. Beyond repair. Cold doubles, hot coffee, hot doubles, cold coffee, whatever you eat in the morning, nobody cares. You're getting 1,000 numbers, I get in 2,400 numbers. Come now, man, tell yourself something. You used to be Spock. People used to pull over on the side of the road. Spock, yeah! We used to say, what? We wanted to hear that. No, nobody want to hear, brother. You had your chance, and you fucked it up. It's not our fault, it's yours. Believe that. But we have an opposition that on life support and the pussy national movement. Faris Al-Rawi tell the reporters about a government that couldn't successfully defend an oil company that the government shut down and put their people to run. So the information required for the case to defend Petrogen coming from inside. So if you don't give it, the other side will win. What happens if the other side is your friend? I'm not saying you throw the case, I'm not saying you fix the case, but I'm saying it's possible. There should be a law preventing the state from defending the treasury, putting the treasury at risk to fight a case against your friend. Because all you have to do is throw the case. All you have to do is send Stuart Young inside of there, lost everything, fire everybody. What we talking about? Seals, and we ain't know nothing about that, Your Honor. Sorry, we ain't no information to give. Release the details of the case. Show us how the case was defended so that we could know that at least a zealous defense was offered. But we don't know that. And I can't say one way or the other. It could be that Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj really is the best lawyer in the world, and I'm willing to concede that. But Faris Al-Rawi told the media, when they asked a question, asked Kamala, the Minister of National Security, when asked about the COVID-19, the Pfizer vaccines that came in here like a thief in the night, without paperwork, addressed to whom it may concern. It took you 3 chances, Fitzgerald Hines, to write 2 different releases. And it took the United States of America 24 hours to be able to say, yeah, we get them that. We nice, eh? Watch we. We like Trinidad and Trinidad like we, so whole lot you take it. Nothing. No apology. No, well, we don't have an ambassador right now. The whole department is, I'm just the janitor, and I was raking leaves whole day, so I come in here to write a quick release because Biden called me personally. Nothing. We's us. We is us. We had to be us. For you to try and tell we, in your release, that this is an exceptional relationship between us and the Americans, and specifically for the national security. Where that in their release? Where that in the letter? It nowhere to be found. It nowhere to be found. Their release sound like a friend giving a partner who get hold by police an alibi. Yeah, he was by me. I have a partner named Tony. When Tony was getting married, his then fiancée Sandy called me and said, hey, I'm trying to find Tony. I say, he outside, you know, he fighting up with the car, he under the car. I go tell him that you gotta call him back. She said, you just lied to me. I said, I can say that. She said, because Tony here sleeping. But I wanted to see if you would lie for him. I respect Sandy from that day forward. And she'll remember that. The United States Embassy was me. The Pfizer was Tony, cover for him. Yeah, that was me. It's bullshit. It is uncharacteristic, and I learned a long time ago, if it looks like bullshit and it smells like bullshit, don't step in it. Fitzgerald Hines took 3 chances, wrote 2 releases. That thing happened. I released it at 10, and he released on my release. I tell people, if I didn't bust that mark and release that information, national security ain't telling me nothing, America ain't telling me nothing. They'd have successfully smuggled in that Pfizer vaccine. So the only other question that we need to be asking now at 9:57 on Monday, June the 14th is, how many successful vaccine smuggling operations have taken place before this customs officer, who should be given a raise and a national award? And I would like to say to him, regardless of what victimization happens to you, like I say to the journalists, whatever victimization, anybody who stands up for the country, whatever victimization that happens to you, stand firm, stand tall, and if ever there is a way and a time and a place that I have any responsibility or authority in this country, you will be repaid, like the Bible says. Your cup will run it over. You will drown in blessing. You'll become a blessing. Promise you that. But Piper man, who thief me meme like a piper, you lied. And if you telling the truth, release the information. Release all the information. Release the correspondence that led to the donation of those vaccines. Release that information so we can ask Rowley and the stunt squad. Because imagine, the day before, is that night or get hold? Is that night after your press conference? Is that Saturday night or get hold? You could imagine if this was true. Hines would have walked in there like the big cock on the block. They walk in there. Oh, they don't let me sit down on the big boys' table. But today, I get in Pfizer from America. Let me talk on the microphone like Stuarty used to talk. Oh, listen, let Stuart talk so much. Why can't I talk? Why don't they let me talk? Sitting down there by the journalist like a fool. They're making me look like nobody don't talk to me. If it was true, Parasram lied. Because if it was true, Parasram spoke about vaccines. And he said, we have vaccines coming from America tonight. You see, when the vaccines came in from China, 20,000 doses of the WHO, World Health Organization approved Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccines landed at Piarco International Airport at 1:37 p.m. this afternoon, Monday, 14 June 2021. The Honorable, Terence Dialsing, Minister of Health, Senator the Honorable Dr. Amory Brown, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, as well as His Excellency Fang Kui, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Trinidad and Tobago, were on hand. When they say were on hand, doesn't mean that was it, you know. That was the names. But the entourage was big. People was there giving, hey, look, we're doing it. All of them. All of that. But the Pfizer come in. Hey, shh, don't talk. We have some Pfizer here. I think it's about 80. I have a letter. Let me get a little pass through now. Don't tell nobody. We's ass. Fitzgerald Hines, you think we's ass? To the person in the United States Embassy who wrote that after the fact, cover up. You think we's ass? We may be 2 dots in the sea, but we're not ass. And that's why you'll get plenty more jam. Because every single person who listening to this video tonight, I am asking you to write every media house in America and tell them the bullshit that took place in this country. It's not about the amount. You're going to give it 2. Give it 2 with fanfare. The United States touched down. The whole place shell down. Nothing. Hey, we just trying to get you. Listen, man. It's like you were smuggling coke. And I think that maybe that is a path and a thread you want to pull at. Because it's still drugs. These may be quasi-legal. But I will close with this. And Piper, man, anytime you think you're ready, call me. Anytime you don't want to hide behind lawyers, you think your name, man, put on your elevator shoes and come outside. Rowley, if you really feel you're bad, put on your shit kickers. Faris, I do my little leotard shit too, so I waited. Anytime you're ready, we could do it. Stop hiding behind privilege. Stop hiding behind lawyers. Give as good as you could get. Let people see all as man and not pipers and pussies. Because the People's National Movement is only still in government today. Because the United National Congress exists. But if for any reason you ever had to face somebody like me across that divide, you're going to be scared to come in that parliament. Because as you give, you will get back, clap back, slap back so hard that Parliament channel will be must-see TV. It'll be the #1 most watched show in the country. And people know that, you know. People have been saying, boy, Phil, if they put you in the Senate, if talk spread in this country, Philip making his debut contribution today, the Parliament channel collapse. Can't take that load. Because people will know for the first time, a real man, not a pussy, a real man reaching the Parliament. Until tomorrow, to my good people of Trinidad and Tobago, put on your thinking hats, caps, think critically, logically. Everything they say, think about what they didn't say. Ask yourself, if it's looking like it, if it's smelling like it, if it's tasting like it, it had to be it. And all this bullshit they're dishing, start to call them on it. And to the people, and I want to tell all there, the slaps that they get. I see some of the media turning off comments because the government getting whoop, kick. It's like you ever come out a Globe with a kick up showing everybody jumping by that mailbox in front of the Globe. Get so much kick in his time. Until tomorrow, stay safe.